Hello everyone, welcome back to our Python for Beginners series. I am Idunil Tembona and today we are diving even deeper to the world of Python programming. In this lesson, we'll explore the exciting concept about variables, data types, and conditional statements. But before we jump into the lesson, we quickly recap what we've learned the previous lesson about basics of Python coding. In the previous lesson, we learned about fundamental concept of Python, and in that we briefly explained about variables, data types, comments, and the print statement, and also what is the indentations are, and how important indentation is. Also, we written our first Python program, Hello World, and run it, and we saw the output on our screen. Let's go into today's lesson. In today's lesson, we talk about more on variables and data types. Imagine variable as labeled box that contains different types of information. Variables are named placeholders for your data. This information can be numbers, text, or different type of data, or more complex data. Data types can help Python understand how to handle these data. So, when we talk about variables, these are named placeholders for your data, and you can change what's in the box. Python will remember those changes. For example, if we take the same example we used previous video, name equal Idunil Tembona, and when you use name variable inside the print function, it gives an output as Idunil Tembona. Now, in the same program, if you assign a new name for the same variable, like name equal Melanie De Silva, then when you print name again, it does not print Indranil Tembona, but it prints the changes that you made as Melanie Silva. And when we talk about data types, Python has various different data types to handle different type of informations. As we talked about in the last video, float used to store decimal numbers. I have given an example here. All these decimal numbers can store inside the float data type. Integers used to store whole numbers like 10, 25, like the given examples. Those numbers we can store inside integer data types. Strings used to store textual data like the names and different type of descriptions. A boolean used to store true or false. For example, if we have a condition saying that if age equals 18, then you get an output. If your input says age is 18, then when you check on your condition, if age equals 18, you can assign the output of that to a boolean variable, because age is 18, age equals to 18 is true. So decisional outputs you can store in boolean variables. This helps Python know what kind of information you are working with. Next, we have conditional statements. Think of it like a choice of your own adventure for your code. You set up conditions and Python takes action based on those conditions and gives you output whether they are true or false. In this example, here we have taken an integer variable and assigned a number, age equal 18. And in our conditional statement, we learn more about the conditions, what are the different type of conditions available in Python. But here in this example, we use if condition, Then we check if age greater than or equal to 18. Now we have assigned value 18 to our age variable. Now in this conditional statement, it checks whether the age variable has a value either greater than 18 or equal 18. Now tell me, think what is the outcome of this conditional statement. It's true, right? So if age greater than or equal 18 is true, if it is true, then it goes to execute the next statement, which is our print statement, and it prints on the screen, you are old enough to vote. Right? Now here we also can see the indentations that we have used. So age equal 18 and the condition if age greater than or equal 18 are on the same level, but when the condition is true and that blocks, the true block is indented to say, okay, please execute the next statement or the print statement only if the condition is true. Now, if we didn't give this indentation, Python does not know what to do when the condition is true. So it will provide an error or notification saying it can't process that line of code. So we've learned few different things in this example. We learn about the conditional statement and we learn about the indentation. Now let's again come back to the topic that we are talking. You set up conditions and Python take actions based on whether those conditions are true or false. So I have shown it in a flowchart also. Now we have learned about the conditions, we've learned about data types, we've learned about variables. Now let's put what we've learned into action and we'll write our code and see it actually does what we learn. For this I use PyCharm IDE. You can use your own choice of IDE to write the code. Okay, now we'll create a new Python file. conditions.py. And we'll create a new Python file. And here we add a comment. We will be testing conditional output from this lesson. This line capture the input value provided by the user. We'll set a variable age equal. Now age should be an integer, so there is a function to convert text into integer. We use that. We are going to capture input from your keyboard and assign that value to age variable as an integer. Right now we use another method, input, Now we're gonna capture keyboard input. In here, we give a string, enter your age. Right. So what happened here, on your screen it will show you enter your age, and it waits for you to provide an input. If you Now you can give a number here, and that number assign it to age variable. Now we add our conditional statement. If age greater than or equal 18, what needs to be done? See, the IDE automatically indented the line for you. So that is the usefulness of using an IDE for your programming. So now if the condition is true, let's print. Now you know what is the print function does. Enjoy the movie. Right. Now let's say the condition is not true. In this case also we need to show something to the user. So in the conditional statement we use else in Python. Else, if age greater than or equal 18, if condition is true, then print enjoy the movie. Else, we'll say print sorry, you are too young to watch this movie. Let's talk a little about the input function, because you are learning it for the first time. So input function used to capture values that a user given from the keyboard. We'll run our program and see what it actually does. See, when you run your program or your line of code, it comes to input function and shows what is inside it. It says enter your age. Until you give a value, it does not execute the rest of the program. So now as it asks enter your age, we will give a value to it. Let's say 25 and enter. Now it prints enjoy the movie and stop running the program. So you've given the value 25, and that value, this is a text because you are typing value from your keyboard. Whatever the value you input from the keyboard taken as text. Now that is why we use int function to convert that text value or integer value. So now we've given 25 and it converts the 25 into integer and assign it to age variable, and our condition checks whether the age variable contain a value, integer value greater than or equal to 18, and the condition got true and it prints enjoy the movie. Now we'll run the program again and we'll give a value lesser than 18 and see what will happen. We run the program and it asks enter your age. we'll give 10 and enter. See, now it print, sorry, you are too young to watch this movie. So it execute the false or the else section of the block of the code or the condition. So if age greater than or equal to 18, now that condition fails here. So if it fails, then what needs to be done? That is why we use else statement. Else, if it not greater than or equal to 18, else print this. Now I told few times that we enter text from keyboard and it converts to integer. Now as you have the keyboard, you can type anything, right? We'll run the program again and type a text and see what happened. Here it asks you enter age, but we give our name and enter. See, it gives an error. So when you enter a character, rather a number, it throws an error because it can't convert characters into integers. Yeah, so you learn a new thing now here, but we will be learning more about these things in the later in the series. Congratulations, you learned about variables, data types, and conditional statements in Python. With these tools, you can start building more interactive and dynamic programs. Keep practicing. In our next lesson, we learn loops and how they can help you repeat things. Thank you for watching this video. We'll see you on the next one. Have a nice day.